Hello, you guys. I hope you're well. This is another energy update. I just want to share something like what I'm going through, like physically, because just in case you're going through it as well. On the astrology, we are going still through certain family karma, which you are clearing. What you might be noticing, maybe your dream state got really intense past couple of, I don't know, weeks. I'm having a lot of dreams and I'm solving a lot of things in the dream state. But that's gonna be quite individual because your inner being or your greater being, which is non-physical, knows the best how to deliver, let's say, some messages to you, or how you might be open to receive certain guidance, and that the avenue is gonna be different for everyone. Like, we're receiving a guidance in a very different way, each and one of us. For me, everything for me in this reality has a meaning. Well, nothing has a meaning until you don't put a meaning to it, but if you looking on everything as information, then you are still receiving the information. Of course, here comes the thing about how much you are aware of the guidance, and if you are actually even aware of what is in front of you. What we are experiencing now, because we are still clearing the family karma, there will be various pains in the body. You might be put into very difficult situations, or you might be experiencing whatever you are experiencing in your reality. Like the major theme could be a lack. It could be, I don't know, abuse. It could be, you might be seeing a lot of people who are abusing other people, or abusing the power, or lies, a deception. You might be seeing a lot of cultural things as well, religion, on all the bullshit that is coming through this type of, I don't want to say teaching, because it's distorted. Good thing to always keep in mind is that this realm we are in, this reality we are in, this physicality is distorted, completely distorted. So when you're looking on something, you will be always experiencing the polarity. So you will be always experiencing distortion or lack and abundance, because there has to be always a balance between them two. Even in yin and yang, you will be always experiencing a little bit of a darkness in the light, and vice versa. But you as a human, as a human being, you are nothing but a sound and light dancing together. There is no really a darkness, right? But in order to incarnate as a human, it was like a requirement to be able to actually come in here. You forgot a lot of things. But right now, because of this layer, when you were incarnating in and you forgot completely everything, is no longer there. We start having our memories back. Our gifts are coming more online. But in order for you to actually receive or get the activation, you have to first unlearn and get rid of the layers of distortion. And that's what we are doing all the time. That's what the process of the evolution of the consciousness is, that you practically discovering all the fragments of your consciousness that stood in this realm of distortion, and where you invested a lot of your, I don't know, time, attention, either programming. A lot of these distortions are more and more visible, and that's you're gonna be seeing probably in the world. But I'm not watching news, so my reality is very peaceful, and my reality is actually very empty. What I notice, my reality is very empty. I'm living in a town which has 11,000 people. It's super quiet in here. I meet very few people. Even if I go on the beach, it was sunny, and I expected it's gonna be crowded, there was almost nobody in there, which is like, it constantly puzzles me that how is it possible that with so many people living in here, I am not experiencing any like crowds in the shops. I'm not experiencing crowds on the street. You know, sometimes I see some like a group of the people, but most of the time it is playing on certain like distortions that I still have, and that's the thing, inherited. You know, it's like this karmic family karma and ancestral patterns that are still part of the DNA, you know, because the DNA remember all the family lineage, you know, because you have your nose of your father. My father has this one, my daughter has it as well. So, you know, like the body remembers. But the biggest portion of you, like, it's non-physical. So what we are clearing at the moment is something that is coming from both of your sides of the parents, from your father's side and from your mother's side. I have both of my hips sore, but not on the outside, but on inside, which didn't happen to me before. And like, you know, on the thighs, on the inner thighs, you've got vulnerability. Vulnerable. I can't say this word. I remember my daughter was teaching it to me, like how to say it right. Vulnerable. I can't say it. Like, it's one of the hardest word ever. So I'm looking on that, but because I cannot pronounce it. So, and it could be anything, like, because it's summer, you might be like being more exposed to like shame, like, and like, especially, let's say, about how you look, like, you know, like your body, you know, fat, skinny, you know, I don't know, things like that. But like, every time these things show up for you, it's good to have a look on it, because there is usually the big, not, I don't want to say the biggest obstacle, but there where the obstacles are usually, and it could be coming from the family lineage. Let's say we are all small women, you know, or I'm the tallest from the smallest. So, and I'm very small. I am like 158 centimeters, and that's it. So, and all my women in the family, my mom's side, are all small. And they were all really like in the narcissistic relationships, mostly, like, in abusive relationships. My father, he was a master abuser, like, with his women, and he was always cheating and lying, and that's what I am like actually bringing on, because I started having dreams about him, which I never had past I don't know how many years. Wow. So it blew my mind. You might have a lot of dreams these days which are gonna be involving one of your parent or male or female figures, you know. So pay attention to your dreams. I wrote a little, like a booklet, I'm almost done with it, about how to do shadow work and using the dreams, and, you know, what to do with it and how to deconstruct it and how to prepare yourself before you go sleep, that you can actually recollect those dreams better. And because, you know, that's a painless way how to do the shadow work. It's one of the best way how to do shadow work is like working the dreams. And of course, the psychoanalysis was always working the dreams. And I'm working with the dreams since I was, I don't know, 12 maybe? Yeah, maybe even before, I don't know. I always had a dream journal. So I wrote this little book. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be writing it, because it starts to be a little bit bigger and bigger, but I'm almost done with it, hopefully, because once I start, it kind of goes on its own, and I don't really know where it's gonna go, and I don't remember half of it, and I have to revisit it and reread it, and so it's more like this channeling. I'm more in this kind of like a channeling state every time I start writing, but I'm gonna put it out there very soon. So you can maybe it's gonna be handy for someone who would like to really like start really working with the shadow in little bit different manner, because healer can just heal you maybe temporary, because you might always reverse that effect back. And also, using a healer is like saying that you are so disempowered that you need someone else to heal you. So already that is, you know, I will give you the power back the way that I give you tools, or I give you the information so you can read it and you can starting to experiment by yourself using the dream state and being your own guide and your own guru and your own psychologist, and like, you know, your own, it's like the self-analysis, because analyzing a little bit yourself and like the way you're going through is like one of the best way how to shift it. It's not that you know, you don't really heal. The healing is just a natural process. You know, you don't have to say, oh, I'm gonna be healing myself and I need to do some healing. No, you don't. Because if you get hooked up on this healing wheel, you're gonna be constantly healing, and what you're saying to your body and to your mind, that there is always something that needs to be healed. So your body is gonna fetch you something to heal. So, you know, it's like you have to be really careful about to understanding as well how this process of the evolution works. There is nothing to be healed, right? You were born already a full, whole person. The problem is that there is a lot of distortion in this realm, and you were being programmed, and there is a lot of belief systems we have, and there's a fears and, like, you know, you name it. So what we are doing, we are more like cleaning this clutter, and at the moment we are dealing with what we inherited these trauma pieces and this distortion, but also what you might be noticing, that more of your gifts are gonna come online, and gifts that are not just from this lifetime, but like all the lifetimes until, let's say, Atlantis, Lemuria, and the first civilization was Lemuria, were Lemurians, and they were like, they had a physicality in here. They could manifest the physical body. They were like the first kind of a civilization, but there is more to it, you know, like the history is unraveling at the moment, so you can have a look on other people who are actually more into the history. They are more like historians, and they are more like scientists, and they are more archaeologists, and more bringing those type of informations. But like, that's something what I know, like it's something that got activated when I went out of the body. When you cross over, or when you go out of the body and you remember, all right, you automatically bring a lot of memories back with you. A lot of the knowledge is like, or the history or the past is like this absolute knowingness, and it's just inside of you. It's like, you know, it's not something that you read somewhere, or it's like you are absolute certain, 100% sure, there is no doubt. This absolute knowingness. And like as well, a lot of our telepathy got online quite a bit, so you are more communicating with your higher being, with your greater being, with the non-physical part of you that is actually larger than this little experience, you know, because you might be existing in all other places, having all different type of lifetimes that are not past lives. They are running in the same time, because there is no time. So your consciousness, let's say, when you go out from the source and you become like that unique spark, you might be existing in a lot of different places, and just a tiny speck of that consciousness is being projected into this body. So what we are doing in here is, when we get decluttered, when we strip off all the distortions, what we accumulated in this realm, and the time from Atlantis when the humanity fall to this realm, to the first realm, we were in the 5th dimension. So in that time we had a lot of gifts, we were using a lot of gifts, we were using out of the body experiences, you know, the pyramids are all designed for just pop out of the body. So we just started to remembering all these things and practicing more of these gifts. So your psychic abilities are definitely now like, it's mind-blowing. You will know a lot of things. I start knowing a lot of things. It's sometimes it scares the shit out of me because I know that about some people that they just gonna go very soon. I knew it about our dog. I knew it for about a half a year that he's going. I had the dream about him as well. It was more like that prophetic dream. I knew that he's going. So you might be, your psychic gifts might be more sharpened up. So at the moment we are all kind of like having these doors open, and I wrote down today morning, it's like the gifts are being distributed. So you might be as well being rewarded, like for all the work what you have been doing. If you had a really hard time, you might be finally like meeting the right people and maybe moving together with them and setting up like certain community that you can continue. Because I do not believe that we came here just to suffer. I think that a lot of us came here to have some lessons. I mean, probably most of us. I don't know if everybody came here to have the lessons. I don't think so. There are definitely few who have a different type of purposes, but I would say like we all get caught up one way or another in this realm of distortion. And what I wanted to as well share is that the game got extremely sophisticated. So there is as well a lot of traps were set into the spiritual community, into the spiritual field. So you have to use your discernment, because nothing is as it seems. You know, the body has a self-healing properties. You know, you don't need anyone to telling you anything, including me. You got exactly the same information that are available to you. You just have to tap into it. You just have to learn how to use your psychic gifts, you know, the psychic faculties, your third eye. Obviously, the diet are gonna help you to be more fine-tuned into those like different frequencies. And of course, you have to set certain boundaries with the artificial intelligence. I mentioned that one in the latest video, but I'm gonna repeat that in here. You have to set the boundaries because you will experience less pain in the body. And those of you who invested a lot of time into like looking on the conspiracy theories and looking onto like the dark agenda, I would highly suggest that you pull yourself out of it, because it's not advised to looking into the dark stuff like every single day too much. Because then when you start looking on the dark entities and on all this like dark stuff, then you're gonna be more open to actually having that experience, you know, like super soldier stuff, for example. I am not saying that that doesn't exist, all right? But it's very little percentage, very little percentage. So the fact that you are experiencing physical sensation or physical stuff like what they are talking about, pull yourself away and like shut it down for a while and see how is it gonna change. Maybe not. Maybe you are a part of completely different program, like the hybridization program. You know, like there is many things that we always assume that we might be a part of it. But if so, it's just a part of you that could be experiencing it, but you still have another aspects of you that are having a different type of experiences. This is not the only experience you're having. You might be existing on the spacecraft. So it's not advised to actually, you can like have a look on it and like shortly to just to know, but it's not advised to really like staying in those frequencies and constantly like watching this type of like movies or interviews, and like unless you don't want to have that experience, because once you start doing it, then you will be more and more and more open to it. I got caught on that, and I know how difficult it was for me to pull myself out of it, and I start to having a fear of my other guides, which I'm having a very nice relationship with the higher dimensional beings. And it took me a while to actually start trusting back into that part. So what I would highly suggest to you to say out loud that you are reversing all the distorted contracts that you made here, knowingly or unknowingly, that you understand that you probably consent back then, but you are no longer willing to participate in anything that is based on the lies, deception, manipulation, fear, and that you don't want any type of interference that is not based on the love and integrity. You need to reverse this. You will see that suddenly you will feel much better. And it's been 3 weeks since my spiritual awakening, about 6 years ago. It's been first 3 weeks that I have very little pain in the body. Once I did these like boundaries that I want a truth, nothing but truth, and I don't want any type of like interference that are not based on love and integrity. And I'm canceling all the contracts I made with anyone and anything, especially the artificial intelligence, that are not working for the benefit of the humanity, because like ITs or extraterrestrials are using artificial intelligence as well, but it's different. So if, you know, and I did the journey when I was using their artificial intelligence to reverse the damage after we caught the bug. So that's why I caught it, because like I was just looking into all the spooky stuff as well, into the lower realms. So it is very important that you do that you set these boundaries. You will feel lighter in the body. 23. So what we are doing at the moment, we are clearing the last bits of the family karma and all kind of like imprints, ancestral imprints. Our gifts went more online, and gifts are being distributed to the people, like to build up the communities, starting the businesses that are more like in alignment with the new earth, what they call it. And then we are redefining ourselves. So we are like being more aware what we actually went through, where is our powers, where are our gifts and like our uniquenesses that we can actually bring to the table and contribute to building up a better and healthier society. I do not believe that we came here to suffer. I still think that the suffering part it's over. And at the moment, we who had a really difficult time, we still need to experience the juice of this existence as well. Like, you know, so I wouldn't say that nothing is permanent. Like, you know, even all the struggles were for something. So I hope this helps you guys. There's still some pain in the body, you know, the parental stuff. We're definitely dealing with parent stuff. Mother and a father, like, you know, all these trauma pieces there. And you can have a look how deep it runs in the family lineage. And, you know, you can have a look like how is it manifesting in the body. And if, you know, there is a full list of like that symptoms, how the emotions are stuck in the body. You can double check that. I think Louis High have a full list. That's a kind of good base, but you just Google it, like, you know, you will find out like what's going on in your life. And if you need me, you know where to find me. Like, I'm still taking some sessions, and thank you for your support, guys. And I see you next time. Be good. Bye.